Hey Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. It is Sunday, October the 8th, and I'm back with my weekend update. Just wanted to share with you a few of the things that went on this week, as well as update on my stitching and show you a couple of finishes. So first off, I want to start off by telling you all thank you so much for your kind responses, your well wishes towards Jacob as he leaves for basic in a little over a week. I can't tell you enough how much I thank you as his mom. The joy that you brought him as he read the comments, because he would come to me and said, "Oh, Mom, did you read this one? Or did you listen to this comment from so-and-so?" He read them and it brought him happiness. So to see my child happy makes me happy, and I just want to thank you all for all your kindness. It means a lot to me. Also on Tuesday of this week, my husband Clint and I took off to our state capital to drop off 2 cross-stitch pieces for fair entry. So these are my first entries. Originally, Natasha Stitcherella and I were going to meet up and go up there to drop them off, and we were going to make these entries together. And first thing in the morning, work called. So I had taken the day off and work called. So a few hours later, I ended up riding up there with my husband, and we had lunch. We made a day of it. I did not get to make those entries with Natasha, which was a little sad, but I will get to see her this coming weekend. But we went in, we met this lady at the reception area. She directed us to where we needed to go, and she said, "Well, make sure when you go into that room that you let the ladies know that you are you're a first time entry." Which, when I entered the room, it was a huge room, and people were filing in with crocheted pieces, quilts. When I'm walking down the hall, a group of ladies that obviously came together said, "Oh, look, she's got cross stitch." And it's like you're at home. Everyone knows your hobby. They recognize it. They have needlework hobbies of their own. So it was nice to be welcomed into the fair entry fold with those ladies. But we got into the room, and the lady that was signing me up, when I told her that I was a first time fair entry, the others around her, a couple of them started clapping, and they were, "Yay, we're so glad you're here." They were so excited to see new entries. And what's going to happen? It's going to promote it even more, because here I am on Flosstube letting you guys know of my wonderful experience. Who knows, next year 10 more people may make entries into the fair, but it was a wonderful experience. I'm told that by the end of this week, I should be able to go online and see whether or not I placed or won a ribbon. So I will keep you all posted. I'm excited. Just really still don't really know what to expect fully, but I am already in preparation mode for next year. The entries that I made were the Pat Rogers Tapestry Sampler, as well as the Speak to the Earth Sampler. I will say that the Speak to the Earth Sampler was not my original choice for my second piece. It would have been my 13 Colony Bay by the Bay Needle Arts, but I didn't have it framed. I had the frame, but I still need glass it was a thrifted frame, so I needed glass and I needed a mat, and I just have not gotten around to getting it done. So Speak to the Earth was my second choice for my second choice. But I want to say you guys had a great part in the reasons why I chose those pieces. I've finished several things this year. I've had several past finishes framed, but you guys have made such wonderful responses to the Tapestry Sampler and to the Speak to the Earth Sampler. I knew that if the response from you guys was so great on those pieces, how can it not be great in the fair? So already I'm in preparation mode for next year planning which of the samplers that Jacob chose that I will be putting, focusing for finish and getting it into the fair next year. So Vanna, Arlene, Julie, thank you so much for giving me that tiny push to go out there and make those entries for the first time, because it really is because of you guys and your words that pushed me to do that. So thank you. All right. This week, I had 2 finishes last night. I have been working on my Little House Needleworks baked good piece at work. I've been cheating. I finished it up yesterday on a Saturday. Now this is my Santa Sunday stitch along piece that I worked on at lunchtime and on Saturday. Krisha says I'm a rebel. But this is it. The only change that I made to this, other than the fabric choice, which was just a scrap piece that I had here at home, is I had gotten this Mill Hill, it's called Mill Hill bead soup from Amy of Down Sunshine Lane. Had it in a goodie bag for one of the Pals retreats, and I used it on this. So I gave the gingerbread man petite bead eyes and buttons, as well as the sprinkles on this cupcake are petite beads instead of French knots, and I put the yellow beads in the poinsettia. I'm not 100% convinced that I'm not sure whether I like those beads or not there, but we'll see. I'm planning on finishing this up using one of Vanna's tutorials, and isn't that a great reference to be able to go back and see so you can finish things? That I'm going to use one of her tutorials. I would love to have this in some type of hanging so that I can put it on one of the cabinet doors in the kitchen for years to come, so that Kanan will have memories of it hanging when we do Christmas baking. So I finished that up, and I also finished up in my bag that I was gifted the Garland Twist by Susan Current. I finished all the stitching on this piece. I still have to put on the bows, the beads for the holly berries, and make the tassel and finish it up. So let me show it to you real quick. This is it. So while Clint and I were in Columbia for the fair entries, on the way home I had him stop in Lexington at the Needler, because I had one thread that I had ran out of on this piece. Now it didn't come as a kit from a manufacturer or distributor or whatever. It came in a kit from our local embroiderers guild. They kitted up for us to do that year, and it's been several years ago. And I picked it up for Santa Sunday stitching, and I got through with the white. So I got down to here, and I finished this green, which is 503 number 3 braid, and knew that I did not have enough to do this one. So I had stopped, or I think I had gotten partially, this row was partially stitched. So I couldn't go any further because the bands have to be done in order. And since we were that close, I had Clint stop by, and I picked up some 503 number 3 braid and finished this up last night. So I finished up a total of nine bands last night, or rows. So now all I have to do is wrap this around the toilet paper holder, or toilet paper tube, which is what is used, and to make the tassel. So I'm looking forward to that. You may see, I stress the word may, a finish on one of those in my next video next week. You may not, but you may. And so I'm looking forward to that. It feels good to have a couple little finishes, because I, was kind of dipping kind of low in my stitch time, and not feeling drawn to anything at the moment. So this coming week, what I'm going to do is work on this. Now, I started this on the 1st of October, and I started it because Halloween. I took it to the Canton, Georgia Library Stitch, and I worked some on the clouds. And of course, I'm focusing more on the wonderful conversation and laughs that I'm having, and a lot less on my stitching. So I ended up having to pull out everything that I had put in, and I'm still pulling out. But this is 36 count 1/2. And as you can see, those loose threads, that's where I'm pulling and removing my mistakes. So not much done. I just wanted to stitch on something happy today. I only plan to stitch on it for today, and then I will go back to my pins and needles, because as I've said before, I'd really love to have a finish on that for this year, so that is my goal. And so once again, this is the piece. It's Halloween Night by Imaginating. And aren't those mice the cutest things? And their eyes are different colors. I love a mouse on my pattern, or I don't mind stitching a mouse on my pattern, but I don't want them in my house. A mouse in my house, a fox in a box. Don't want either one of them. All right, so Thursday night, a few local friends and I got together and stitched for a while. This is our second get together, and I had a wonderful time. I did get a bit completed on my baked goods that night, but it's just wonderful to get together with a group of people with like-minded hobbies and discuss that hobby. And everything else that's going on. So I had a great time then, and then on yesterday, it was Jacob's birthday. So thanks to everyone on Instagram that wished him a happy birthday. He's lurking around. He sees them all. So thank you for that. And so what we did, we got up, we had breakfast, and we had dinner with Grandma and Papa at a local restaurant called Old McDonald Fish Camp. And it is just as the name implied, just meshed together. It is a seafood restaurant with catfish and frog legs and shrimp and hush puppies, grits, and you're sitting in a large dining room, and out the back is Old McDonald's farm. There are geese, and there's a pond out back that you can see from the dining area that has geese and ducks. There are guinea fowl. There are peacocks, goats, chickens, and they're all in, they're in pastures or fenced in the area around the parking lot and behind the restaurant. So I have been going there since I was a child. We love it. One of the best things to do is, they have the little food pellets that you can feed the animals, is to drop the pellets in the water and watch the catfish and the ducks fight over the pellets. The catfish will have mouths like this. And the ducks aren't one bit scared. But we had a great time there, and on the way home we stopped and got the makings for a birthday cake. Jacob didn't want a store-bought cake. He wanted to make it at home, so I baked him a cake last night, and he decorated it, and we sat down afterwards. We had the cake and we played a game of cards, and I loved that. I love sitting down and playing cards with my kids. It was one of my most favorite things to do when they were younger. We would get up on a Saturday morning if I was off, and we may sit at the dining room table after breakfast for 2 or 3 hours playing Uno or Skip-Bo. The other thing I love to do is around Christmas time, I will get a huge puzzle, and we will sit one weekend and put, the end pieces together, and then it stays on that dining room table for a week or two. And as everyone has a moment, as you're going out the door to work, or when you come home and you're waiting for dinner to finish cooking, you throw in a piece or two. And then after a week or so, with everyone's input, you have a puzzle put together. So I know that's a little silly something, but that's a little something that we love to do. And also maybe tomorrow I will do a tutorial on the pumpkins. I had such a great response, so many questions about how to complete this, that I decided I would attempt to do a video. I will attempt to do a video and maybe post it tomorrow. But this is my pumpkins. just to show you again, and this is what this turns into this. And then this looks like the same pumpkin. So I'm going to do this for my daughter Jordan. And I picked up this, as well as this fabric, and this pick. I love this fabric. Fall is just this is just my favorite season. The colors, the browns, the olive greens, the oranges, the reds, beautiful. Love it. So I thought, since I was going to do this for her, that I would try to do that tutorial, and I may try to post that tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And also, I watched this week, until last night, after everything calmed down from the birthday shenanigans, I sat down to watch Flosstube, which I've not watched much of lately. And just, it's what we consider at work as our peak season starts in October, and it has begun, and it's already gearing up pretty heavy, which just means my days are longer. So if I'm at work longer, I'm not at home as much during the week to watch Flosstube. Well, last night I had a few minutes, and I sat down and I saw some of the videos from the shenanigans that's going on in Austin. I'm so happy to see everyone get together and have such a great time. And of course, like everyone else, I wish I was right there with you all. So thanks for the videos. I look forward to everyone making the videos this coming week to share the stories from the retreat. So looking forward to that. I also caught up on a few of the Flosstubers that I love to watch, but I found 2 new ones last night, and one is Melanie Smith, and she works with wool. She is sitting in her videos in front of a wall of wool yarn. It is just gorgeous. So she is a wool dyer. She is a knitter. She writes knitting patterns. She is a thrifter. So if you have not seen Melanie, I will try to link her below. Go and give her a look and leave her a comment, maybe even subscribe. Also, there is homesteading on the home front. She is a New Englander that is living in Guam with her husband and her daughters. She has recently come back to cross stitch after a long hiatus from raising her daughters after watching Flosstube. So if you have not seen her, go give her a look, leave her a comment, welcome her to Flosstube, maybe even subscribe to her as well. I think that's all that I have for you today. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and I think I'm off to prepare dinner with the distracted stitcher for Sunday's dinner for the dinner during the week. So have a great week, everyone. Hugs and stitches. Bye-bye.